Okay, so like I've mentioned before, always check out your deviation, see if it's that one deviation. We're not even near there. We're actually staying in between pretty much settlement and point 0.5 on TF. On Russell or on oil, we saw it go to one deviation and pull back. Wasn't a big surprise. This is a really choppy day for the Russell, and what I've done is I've again added on the. We can even shrink these down for a moment. And to do this is simply right click, go to templates, load, and then load the trend catcher chop filter template. Okay, that's the easiest way to do it. You also can just load the indicators by loading the trend catcher indicator itself. Okay, and loading the trend catcher chop filter indicator. Okay, the trend catcher chop filter should be at least at 14, if not higher. The trend catcher needs to be at least at 7. Usually I leave it at 7, or 9 is the highest number I'll go. Okay? And if I'm going to go, this number is going to go higher, like up to 9, I'm probably going to increase my chop filter. So, because I want there to be, like, ideally, like 2 times the difference between the two periods or more. Okay? Anyway, so I put 7 on there, and then I have my, my confirmation is set to false. Okay, so confirmation is off, and my stats and my sim are off because we haven't built that in yet. We're adding that in. Okay, and all I'm looking for is to enter on a trade, or no, to exit on a trade, basically when that filter flips. So let's say you started this morning, and let's see here. Where can we start at? All right. So we go over here. We'll just say, let's try to get normal market hours so we're being a little more realistic. I mean, we can go all the way back, but, let's say you're starting up around, what? We got over here. Market open 9:30. Okay? Trying to get to market open. Well, we can start there. That'll work. All right, so if you're on, this is if you're on early, but you got cyan, you got red arrow. Now we have let me start from the right side of the chart so it's not so convenient. So you wake up in the morning, around 8 o'clock, you see this, boom, okay? Look at the difference. Now, by the way, make sure, just when if you double click on chop filter, you can edit the settings. Make sure you have calculate on bar close set to true. Okay, calculate on bar close set to true. All right. Yeah, you can only see the template with the latest toolkit because the template comes with the toolkit. Okay. So right there, we got a short, we got a long chop. Can't get in yet, so I can't do my normal. Probably not going to zoom out on my bars a little bit. That line is deceiving when your bars are thick. See how that line looks like we hit it when they're thick? By the way, I'm using Alt up to narrow them or make them thicker. Okay? That's why it's important to have that label price or have the correct zoom on. Okay. Anyway, so normally I'd be taking a short right here if it broke one tick below the low, but chop filter hasn't given me the okay to do that because it's green. So I'm going to wait for the chop filter to turn red with the trend catcher still being red before I look to get in a trade. Now it's red. Now I can get in. Okay, one tick below the low. All right. Hop in. Just moving down. Moving down, that's good. Moving down. Okay, now my stop, by the way, is up here. The orange line, moving it down with the trend catcher itself. Okay. Now it's flipped around. I have a couple choices. I can get out now, or I can say, you know what, I'm going to see if the trend catcher can keep me in longer. Obviously, that's great on trending days, on choppy days like today. That's not going to work so well, but you never know in advance. So let's just assume that we're assuming it's going to be a nice, lovely trending day. Okay? Next bar goes down. Okay, so we haven't got out yet because what? All right, because We didn't get a long trend catcher. Uh, and I'm just going through this exercise in the room if you're watching this recording. And I want to bring up some ideas, some thoughts that I have while I'm trading. Okay? So I started with my stop here. All right? And then the trend catcher line itself moved down. So I moved my stop down to here. All right? So I moved it down to follow this line, if I can ever get it to actually move. Move. There we go. And then I got a long trend catcher. So my heart starts racing. Boom, 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 right? So my heart's racing on this right here. Okay? And I'm looking at, should I get out? But the trend catcher still, the chop filter still says, hey, don't look for long trades right now. It still says short. Okay? So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to get out. I'm not going to get out. I'm going to be patient. I'm going to be disciplined. Okay? And then on the next bar, it pops up and goes right back down. That's one of those trades that would have really pissed you off, right? That you hopped in on. Because you're like, I bought at the absolute freaking high. Okay? So it kept you out of that. At the same time, like, your heart rate starts dropping a little bit. Because you're like, okay, sweet. It went back down. It closed back in my favor. Right? Would everybody agree they would feel that way? Okay? Like, it's like, oh, man. Okay, I know it says red. Whew. It went back down. Okay? So I'm just what I want to do is I want to walk you through all the mental processes because that's probably the hardest part of trading. In my humble opinion, the hardest part is not the arrows. The hardest part is self. If I have a small account, if I don't have a large risk tolerance, I'm probably going to want to tighten my stop like right down to that because I'm just really glad that thing didn't pop up. Does that make sense? Now, if I have a lot of risk tolerance and I just want to give it some room to fly, I can leave it up there. Why might I be willing to, put it there? Because I'm going to get a red arrow if it turns back around. Okay? So I'm just trying to show you a way to tighten that up, to lower that risk. So that way, if it does, decide to do one of those, stop, reversal, boom, pop up, then you're not getting nailed on the trade. Okay? Because understand, I do have a green trend catcher. And if I do get a green chop filter, I will have a long. All right? So this sort of relieves a lot of pressure, right? I don't have my stop all the way up here now. Okay? A couple $100 risk. Now, I have to have maybe 10 ticks, not even 10, like $80 of risk on the trade. So just trying to cover the psychology of trading along with the actual system itself. Because if you don't have the sanity, the system doesn't matter. Goes down. Sweet. Okay. So now, if I was taking this as an additional entry, which I don't need to because I'm still short, right? So just to repeat to make sure, I know repeating helps out. So cyan arrow, red, not entering a tick below. Red arrow, red, sweet, I'll enter a tick below. Doesn't matter if it's a red arrow or not. It could be the third bar, fourth bar, fifth bar. I don't care. So long as the trend catcher and the chop filter line up, then I can enter a tick below the low of that bar. And the stop started at the orange line. Went to the red line. Okay. And then when I saw that green trend catcher go up and the chop filter wasn't green and went back down, I had a little psychological relief there. Went ahead and moved it on down again, just to the high of that bar. I'm using the price action. Okay? It's sort of like a short apex, like an APE, right? Now, this is another sell trade that comes up, but I'm already short. So do I need to add on to my sell trade if I'm already short? I can, but, we're still pretty much range bound. Look at the low of this morning session here. We're pretty much inside this range. So if you want to, you can, but you don't need to. You're already in a short trade. Most people don't want to take on dual risk. Now, is this going to be a valid trade? I mean, we got a cyan arrow. So in this one, Ernesto, on this one, the cyan arrow, if you were taking the additional trade, okay, which I really don't recommend until you really get a nice account size, okay, like over 20,000, okay, like stay at single contracts so you have at least 20,000. But right there on this trade, if this was the first one, we weren't already in this one, then yes, it'd be a tick below the low of that bar, 100%, because the chop filter is there. But the cyan arrow isn't why. The reason why is the trend catcher is short and the chop filter is short. Okay? Now, if the arrows are confusing you, you can always turn the arrows off. You can turn the labels off even. And you can just leave trend catcher and chop filter on. That way, all you're paying attention to are, those two lines. Like the one down here and the one up here. Okay? Yep, it's not going to be late. It's going to be considered on time when they line up. All right, so what I want to bring to your attention, though, is we're already in a trade. If this breaks a tick below the low of this bar, it'd be a valid trade, right? Where would my stop be if it broke a tick below that bar? Where would I put my stop? If I was taking this as an entry, I'd put it at that orange line, right? Does that make sense? So now I'm going to take my short that I have right here, and I'm going to move it on down. Okay? So now we've locked in our profit. Pop! Okay, now this took time. How much time? It took about 2 minutes. Okay, so it opened up. I moved down my stop, and over the next 2 minutes, it did its little thing and popped up against me. Okay, I'm out of the trade now. Now, we still have a short trend catcher. But if I was in that short trend catcher, that's where my stop would have been, right? So am I upset that I'm out of this trade now? I mean, you may be in 2 bars, you don't know, right? But I mean, if you are, you'll get another short and you can go down, right? So I got in the trade. I could tick below the low here. Got in right there at that orange line. Got out, actually, not in. Made a point, made $100. Not a massive trade, but, we protected our profits, right? And we psychologically, like, stop here, trend catcher flipping long. It didn't flip. Sweet. It came back down. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move my stop to the high, that swing high. Okay, and then I'm going to go on down here, and then, that's obviously going to be my stop if I was to take that additional trade. And I'll go ahead and move my stop to that because I would use that stop if I was adding in. Okay, can I take this long yet? Got a long right there. Can I take it yet? I tick above the high. Can I do that? So, nope, because we got a red chop filter. Okay. Now, can I enter? Am I allowed to enter now? I tick above the high? Yeah. Let's put that right there. Lines up. Goes up. Where's my stop going to be? My stop's going to be right here at the moment. Okay, so we can get rid of that stop line. Okay, so we made a point because we went short, right? We're in this one right now. Pops down. I still have a, green chop filter. So can I go short on the trade? I'm not sure what you mean by the location of the chop line on the bar, because the chop is down here. It's not on the bar. It's lower. Okay, so can't take that one yet. So is my stop still down here? Yeah, a little nerve-wracking. Yeah. Okay, comes on down. Can I get in yet? Am I allowed to go short on this trade yet? He's coming down, man. My stop's right there. Boom, boom, boom. Heart's racing. All right. Still got a green chop filter. Woo. Right? It reversed. Thank goodness. Okay. So we had our stop here, and I'm just being real. I mean, that's what I would have been feeling. I mean, don't risk too much, and your heart won't race too fast. But still, it's just part of trading. Should be a little bit boring because it's systematic, as long as your risk isn't too high. But still, we see it going against us, and nobody likes that. I don't care if you're playing penny slots or $100 slots. You still like to see, all the cherries, right? So, anyways, right here you got this. Okay, so now remember what I said? Like, hey, it went down, it flipped against me, come back around. So I'm using the same rule. I'm being consistent here. Remember when this one went up? It turned around, I moved my stop. Went down, heart's racing, turned back around, went in my favor. I'm going to move it up to that swing low. Okay? I'm going to tighten it up at least a little bit. Coming back down. Okay? Going back up. Okay, now we have an interesting scenario. Okay? See, that swing low is a nice thing. Can I take this trade? I'm already in a trade. So would I want to add another one? I mean, it's a valid one, right? In the sense of it's like a green and a green. So unless you have the account size, probably not. Okay? But where should my stop be if this trade is triggered? Should it be down here below the swing low, or where should it be? At that orange line, right? Where the stop would be for that. So I'm going to move it up just a little bit. Okay? Bust up there. That's good. Goes on up. Goes on up. Goes on up. I'm like, come on. I want to move it already. I'm in profit. So I can tighten it up because the trend catcher line. Okay, definitely can move it up more now. Move it up to here. Okay. All right, getting a little dicey there. Getting a little cyan arrow going on. Okay. And that's where we're at right now. That's the current day. Live. So currently, you're in this trade. Tick above this high. We started with our stop here. Then we had the trend catcher reverse, but without the chop filter confirmation. When the bar finally reversed back in our direction, we put it to the swing low. We got another trend catcher long. We moved it up to that stop right there. Okay? And then we trailed with the trend catcher line itself. And currently the market is at 1263.1. That's up $250 right there so far. Where things go next, I don't know. Okay? So now it's live. You got to stop way down here, and you got that way up there. That was a pretty choppy. This is a choppy day. I mean, this is crap for movement. Okay? I mean, everybody agree on that? This is pretty crappy movement right here. We're up $350, right? With a capital C for crap. Yeah, and that's just using the chop filter. Okay? Now, let me show you what would have happened if we would have used the normal trend catcher. All right, we would have got in here. We would have got out there. Okay, for a win. A smaller win versus getting out, down here. We could measure what would that would be. So $40, okay? This is without the chop filter, and this is without any confirmation, without all that fun stuff, without Joe's rockin' method, without Lori's early entry method and quick entry method and all that stuff. Okay, You'd have got in here, and you would have got out there for a pretty big loss. Okay? You would have got in here. Actually, you would have got in here first because you would have went short, right? And so you would have short, and then you would have went long. So these are losses. Okay, those two are losses right there. Don't really want to add them up because they look pretty painful. We'll use some fuchsia. That's another way to pronounce that. All right, and then go here. Another loss right there. Okay, so this is if you're just going in and just taking every little arrow. And you want a short. Oh, Lord. Again. Okay? I don't know how that changed, but there we go. And then you're finally in a long trade that's profitable again. So far. That's pulling back on you. Versus, we've only had 2 trades. One's up 100, another's up 250 or so at the moment. Because we didn't take this long because it never lined up. We didn't take this short because it never lined up. We didn't take this long because it never lined up. So, like, this short wasn't taken, okay? And then, that long wasn't taken. So the long right here, because it's a losing trade, that long was not taken because we have a red chop filter, right? And then this short right here, the red arrow short, that was not taken because we're already in the trade and we're trailing our stop down. Okay, remember, because we already had this trade on. Now, if we would have taken it, we would have had a small loss. Okay, right there on that one. But we're already in one trade, and there's no reason to add 2. And then we would not have taken this long until here. Okay? And so a little bit higher entry, but we didn't get stopped out because we didn't go short right here because the chop filter kept us in the trade. It said don't trail up your stop just because the trend catcher flips. Okay? It said make it actually, make everything actually flip. Boom, turns back around. We tighten our stop up. Tighten up again. Okay? We didn't take this short, obviously, because we got a long chop filter. And then, this is another long that you could have taken, just like you could have taken this additional long. Okay? This long we did take, but it's basically the same trade. You're pretty much entering at the exact same price. Like, maybe a tick difference. Maybe. Let's see, what's the high? Stop it. 1260.4 versus 1260.4. It's the exact same trade. Okay? So, basically we had either... Oh, deleted the wrong one. Here to here. So either we have these 2 trades, or we have all of these trades by using the chop filter. That gave you an ultimate choppy day showing you the chop filter on it. Versus just trading trend catcher without any kind of confirmation. Okay? So trying to put, 2 things side by side. So let's scroll back and let's look at yesterday. Okay? So we did a choppy day. So I'm just trying to be fair on both sides and do a really crappy choppy day to see if it did its job. Okay? And then we'll also go in and we'll do a, trending day. Okay? All right. trying to get to the beginning of the day. Where is... All right. So what are we on here? Time we're on... Yeah, 9:30. So this is perfect. All right. So we got 9:30. Boom. You open your charts. And so now we're trading forward because you can't, unfortunately, go back and trade left. All right. So we got a long trend catcher, but we got a short shot filter. Can I get in the trade? Long trend catcher, short shot filter. Nope. Cannot get in. Okay. Long trend catcher, green arrow. What about a green arrow? Nope. Okay, now, can I get in the trade? If it's a tick above the high. Yep. Is there anything important about this high that I might want to be just mindful of? I'm trying just to bring a little bit of market analysis without bringing too much market analysis in. What might be important about that high? Where is that high at? It's right at settlement. Settlement is like the ultimate magnet. Okay? So often, I mean, just look at the, yesterday, the day before that. Like, see how it came up right to settlement? Or, sorry, it wasn't settlement. I'll go back. Anyway, it's a very strong magnet. It came down, came right back up to settlement this day, right? It came down, came right back up to settlement. That's called usually a gap trade, by the way. Anyway, so we'll just go with it without trying to get overly complex, okay? So we're in the trade at this point. A little easier to see. In the trade, by the way, our stop, just to be specific, right there. Moving it up this line, moving it up to this line. Okay. Get rid of that old one. Moving it up again. Okay, just trailing it with the trend catcher. Okay. Flips around. Can't get out yet. Okay. This day is a mixed bag of chop and trend. So, because I can't get in the trade, right? I can't go short because the chop filter's not short yet. All right. Chop filter's not short. Chop filter's short. I'm out of the trade. Okay. Like one tick below the low here. So on this one, I do take a small loss on that one of 13 ticks. Okay. And I'm looking for a short. This will be good because we're going to get both. We're going to get some chop and we're going to get some trends. Okay? So now I'm in. I'm going short. Okay? Going on down. Going on down. Okay? Can't get in that trade yet. Stay on this little choppy morning that's making everybody very unhappy at the moment. Okay? Goes back down. Now, what did I say that we do whenever we get a trend catcher that flips against the chop filter while we're in a trade, and then we get a bar that closes back in our direction? We take our stop, which we had here, and then here, and then here, and then here. We're going to move it to one tick above that high, that swing high. Okay? Now we have a very, very small risk on our trade, and our heart can slow down. If it goes down huge, awesome. If it goes back up, we have enough money to survive and hop in the next trade. Okay? So I'm tightening my stop up. That's the big key here when that flipped around. So just to review that with you, I had a short trend catcher. I'm in a short trade. Okay? Got a short shot filter, short trend catcher, and still have a short shot filter, but then I get a long trend catcher. And then the next bar, or maybe a couple bars later, without the chop filter flipping, the market turns back down and goes right back in my direction. I'm going to put it at that swing high, so which is the high of this bar. Okay? We did that twice on the current day on Russell. Okay, so moving down. Now I get a short trend catcher, and I get this looks really familiar, doesn't it? A short trend catcher and a short chop filter. I'm already in a trade. I don't need to add to the trade unless I have a larger account. But where do I need to move my stop to? To where I would be putting it if I was getting in this trade at the orange line. See that? Okay. Now I've actually locked in basically protected a profit because now I'm lower than my short. Goes on down, goes on down, goes on down. Okay. It pops back around. All right. I know some of you too, y'all be like just taking the profit off right now because you're up like $400. Which isn't bad except for whenever you, how do I put this? Whenever you give up on that big trend. So, that's more of a target method. Anyway, so what does it do? Boom, it turns back around. So what do we got to do? Now we get to finally freaking move this thing to that swing high. Because what do we get? We got a long trend catcher again, just like here. Okay, without a long chop filter. And then we got a reversal bar again right after that. Okay, and we're going to move to that swing high. I don't know. I just adjust my stop after I get in the trade, Francis. So it's not a defined amount whenever you're trading like this. I just put one in your OCO or your stop offset and then hop in and do that. If you mean what is my stop offset in my settings, I'm using 1. So right up here, I just got one entry offset, 1 stop offset. Okay? But 1. Cool. All right, so now we moved it down. Now we've locked in even more profit. That makes us feel a little better. Okay? Especially after seeing 2 long trend catchers in a row, which, by the way, that one would have lost, and we filtered it out, right? Okay. This one's getting a little dicey. Okay, now this is important. Look at this. Okay. We got a trend catcher long. We got a chop filter long. Would I be buying on this trade if it breaks a tick above the high there? So if I got a trend catcher long and a chop filter long, would I buy? Yes. If it breaks tick above the high, I would buy. So I'd say, in order to go there, okay, which means I would need to move my stop down as well. Okay? So if that gets triggered, then basically a tick below the low over here to a tick above the high over here. That'll lock in a 270 profit for us. Okay? Remember we lost 130 bucks earlier, so now we've made 270, so we're up for the day at least. Oh, try not to cheat. All right. One bar at a time. All right, so we're in the trade, right? Going long. Up, up, up. Okay, let's move our stop to the trend catcher. Line right there. Okay. Trend catcher flips go short, but we have a long chop filter, so do we go short? Nope. Okay. Goes on down. Do we have a short yet? Still got a long chop filter, so do we have a short yet? Nope. Do we have a short now? Yep. Okay, so we're going to have to tighten this on up to a tick below the low, right? Like I said, it's a choppy morning. Okay. Gets triggered. Okay, we're in the trade. So now we're just sort of chopping around. But we've missed out on a lot of chop in the process. So that's one of the biggest keys I want you to see. So 80 bucks, we're still net positive, not by much. But we're still up. If we lose on this one, we're probably going to be net down. Going on down, we're short. There, we're moving it down here. Okay. Okay, now we're getting to move down a little bit more. That's good. With the trend catcher line. Get rid of that one. Down again. Okay, let's keep going, see what happens. Again. So I'd just be grabbing my chart trader and just moving my stop like that. Okay. So now we're basically at break even on the trade at least. Alright, now we're going to protect some profits. Protect some more profits. Protect some more profits. And some more. This is where you really test your willpower to not just top out. Because so bad you just want to get out of the trade. Right? I think probably the hardest thing in trading is managing your profit. Seeing that green and letting it go. Because you're so like sick of seeing red that you're just happy to see green and you just want that victory. But we got the victory. So now we're just trying to see how well our patience can pay off. All right. So now we got a long trend catcher with a long chop flip. Or sorry, a short chop flip. Can we get in the trade? No. Now, can we get in the trade if it breaks a tick above the high of this bar? Yes. So we need to move our stop down, right? And we need to place a buy order tick above. And let's see here. So point set. Oh, what was the low? The low is 1256, 5.6. Okay, so 0.5. All right. Over there. So $630 on that trade. So far this morning, this is as of 11 o'clock, okay, a.m., starting at 9:30. So in an hour and a half so far, I made lost 130, okay. Then we went short, we made 270. We went long, we lost 80. So 80 plus 130 is 210, or then made 270, so we're up like $60, okay. And then we added 630, so now we're up. What is that? 690? I don't know. I'm horrible with my math right now at the moment. I'm doing too many things this morning, but here, I'll just use the standard calculator. Alright, so we started off with a fun loss, but then we made $270, and then we lost $80. Yeah, there we go. Then we made $630. So we're up $690. That's what I thought, but never hurts to check. Okay. And all right, so we're in that trade. Our stop is down here, and I know if you're Kevin, you're done because it's like 11 o'clock, right? Or 12. It's up at 12, right? All right, so still can't get out of the trade, right? Because we got a short trend catcher, but we have a long chop filter. And looks like we got hit on that trade, and we got a short. Okay? So on that one, it'd be a tick below the low of this bar here. So gave back some good profit on that trade by continuing to trade. If you didn't stop at your 5% profit rule. So Kevin's like, I'm done. I'm up 5%. So I know. Which is good. All right, so now let's see what happens. I'm just going to trade the whole day through, regardless, just to let you see it. Yeah, you can give it back quick and make it quick. It goes both ways. Okay? Okay? So on that one, we basically had a short. We had a short there. We got stopped out of that trade. But then we had a short one, so we could go in and we could go short here. Okay, and then we got a long, so we can go long there. We basically, looks like it's about a break even. So what's a tick below the low of this? 1246. Tick above the high of that. Low 1246, high 1245.4. So we actually made 5 ticks. So made back $50 on that trade. Okay. Okay. And then we got a long confirmation, all that fun stuff. So now we're going long. So we can go ahead and we can say, okay, we lost 330. We made. Whoops. So we're at what? 690 minus 330 plus 50. Okay. It's one more trade, so to keep up with it. So in that trade, we're going long. We have the chop filter confirming our long. We'd about to tick above the high where that green arrow is. Hopefully you're getting the idea by this point. Going. So if you would have given up after that 360 loss, you miss out on this one. Going. Okay. So let's go ahead and track our trail here. We started with the orange line on this entry where we bought. Okay, we also bought the cover, and we bought to go long. And then so trail right there. Okay. Now we got a short, but we got a long chop filter, so we don't move up our stop yet, and we can't get in the trade to go short yet. Now we can. Now we do. Okay. So we're stop on up there. We're gonna go short. A tick below the low here. We're going to book a. That's approximate, maybe plus or minus a tick, okay? But, which I mean reality, slippage, everything. So add $830 on that trade. So now we're up 1240. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. If KJ's not done before, he is done now. All right, so now we're going short on this trade, okay? We got a short confirmation. We got a short chop filter, if I can talk, and a short trend catcher. So it's going down. By the way, our stop is up here on the short now. Okay, we got a long, but we don't yet have a chop filter saying to go long. Still don't have one saying to go long. Now we got one saying to go long. Okay. So right here, tick above this high. Okay. And so if we end up booking that loss, basically gave up another $130. Okay. And then we will end up going long there with our stop here. All right. I can tick above that high. Okay, boom, we're in the trade. Trailing. It is the end of the day. Okay, like right here. So depending upon how you trade, so first I just want to, we can follow this trade to its end if you want to, but or I'll go ahead and do it just for fun. But I mean, right there, that's 415. Okay, like so, unless you're going to put up like $5,000 in margin, you closed out the trade, you made another $170. Okay, because otherwise you'd have to hold it past the close. So if you did, let's just go ahead and we'll finish this one trade out. Okay. So if we close at the end of the day, we have plus 170. There we go, 1280. So book 1280 on the day. Not bad. Definitely pays for the membership. still going, because you're sitting there and you're an addict and you can't walk away because this trade is flying and you're going to stick with the thing no matter what. Turns around, boom, okay, now you're out. If you would have stayed with the trade, which means, honestly, I mean, is it worth it? I don't know, I guess it depends. But, I mean, you would have sat there for, I mean, this is a good example, okay? You would have sat there from 4 to 4 a.m. for basically 12 hours to make another $100. Okay? So, to me, 12 hours is definitely not worth $100. Now, you may have made $600, but 12 hours, is it worth $600? No. Okay? So, just get out at the end. I mean, if you want to trade at night, but, you know, just get out at the end of the day. So, if we got at the end of the day, 1280. If you got out a little bit later, you made 1380. And so that's a, you know, trending day. That's had a couple nice big trends, but also had some crappy chop in it, right? We had a couple losses in there. We had, like, what, 3 losses? A 130 loss, an 80 loss, a 330 loss. That was our bigger one. Fortunately, it happened after a nice big 630 win. Okay, we had a 270 win. We had a 50 win. We had an 830 win. We had a 130 loss, and then we had a 170 win. So, I mean, we had wins and we had losses. Our win-loss ratio wasn't just fantastic, but our reward ratio was great compared to our loss, like the amount of money we made when we were profitable versus the amount of money we lost when we weren't. And we avoided a lot of chop in the process, which saved us a lot of money. And that is the chop filter. So now we're still on this one day where it's just sort of chilling out. So if it flips down, we'll have to move it down. We're at least going to break even, if not profit, on this trade that we have currently open. So sort of going backwards there. And that was me marking up, like, I'll take all that off. That was me marking up everything if you would have just traded without the chop filter. So, I mean, that's a good example day with plenty of chop and plenty of trends. Today was a good example day with, you know, just really crappy chop. So, okay, so as a reminder, you need to download the new toolkit, okay, as of 4/10/2015, and right-click on your chart, go to Templates, and choose the underscore trend catcher chop filter template, and that will have all the settings built in. Okay, the settings also are built into the notes. The only setting you need to change, okay, and I just didn't think about this last night when I had Alex make the template, okay, is make sure you change calculate on bar close to true. Otherwise, you're going to get really confused when that red and green line at the bottom starts popping up and down on you. Okay? So, summary of the settings, if you want to write them down, you want to post them in the forum, something like that, is add the trend catcher chop filter with a default of 15, no more than 14, okay? Or, sorry, no less than 14. So, somebody wants to write this down. Trend catcher chop filter, add the indicator, minimum number of 14. The number needs to be at least 2 times the period you use in the trend catcher itself. Okay? And the trend catcher itself can only use a period of 7. So that's why it's a minimum of 14. Okay? And for this to work well. Otherwise, it's not gonna help filter out much. And then calculate on bar close as true. So let me do that. Unfortunately, I can't do the other one because of the version I have installed right now. so there's that for you. Um, I can show you trend catcher, but it's going to have different stuff than yours, so it's going to be really confusing. Basically, I got entry offset, stop offset, and max entry bars. All those are false. Okay? And I have my confirmation as false. So somebody could, and I have my sim and stats as false. So let me see. Let me put it here. I'll just type it, and if somebody can make a screenshot of this on the current version, and like just that's not on like pre-beta version right now, like just expand it down like that, okay? Or maybe like that, like right there, like that amount, 1, 2, and 3, okay? And like you'll actually see that right there because you'll see the 2C. So somebody could take a picture of that for me that's not on the pre-beta would be really helpful. And basically put your entry offset to 1, your stop offset to 1, your max entry bars to 1. So all three of those are in 1, okay? Put your period to 7. Smoothing is 1, 5, 2, okay? Confirmation is false. And then turn your sim and your stats to false. Okay? So again, confirmation is false. Sim and stats are false. So we don't want them showing because it doesn't currently account for the chop filter. So it's going to give you a number that's not there. So sim and stats are false. Confirmation is false. And then use entry offset 1, stop offset 1, max entry bars 1, trend measurement period 7, 1, 5, 2. 9 is another option. If you go with 9, you're probably going to want to make your chop filter like 18. Okay? And since, yeah, we're not using the confirmation indicator, we're turning confirmation to false. You don't need a separate confirmation chart. You don't need a separate confirmation indicator if you're using the chop filter method. I mean, Joe has some cool stuff to teach with using the second chart, so I'm not discounting it. I'm just saying this is a very simple method to help you out and focus on. And I love his method. I think it's really cool. So, definitely attend the THT tomorrow. All right, is everybody clear on the settings? So 7152 in trend, entry and stop offset 1, confirmation false, sim and stats false. The big number here is 7. Okay? So you don't need to use the parameters from the forum if you're going to use the chop filter method. Okay? Very, very simple. No. Because we're not using confirmation. We're not using period of 3, which is basically going to be all of the ones in the forum. I mean, if you want to keep using that method, rock on. But if you want to use this method that I'm teaching you today, then ignore all the settings in the forum, throw the chop filter on, and trade like I showed you today. All right, so here's just a highlight of the settings. So we got the trend catcher indicator selected. Okay, you can right click and go to indicators and choose the trend catcher that you have at the bottom, or you can just double click on the trend catcher, it'll come right to it. And then we put our entry offset, stop offset, max entry to 1. We put our parameters trend right there to 7152. Trend confirmation is false. We're not using the confirmation secondary chart, or you don't have to. Okay, don't need to because you're using the chop filter. Unless you want to add it in as an additional measure, like using Joe's method or something like that. And then show sim trade, show stats, false. Okay? Why? Because we don't yet have the chop filter tied into the trend catcher. So whatever stats it shows you is not going to account for what this method that I've taught you today shows you how to do. Okay?